best of that tradition on your watch? Ask the question. Ask the question. I'm not talking about perfection. All of us crack vessels. All of us fall short. But one thing we can say in the 1960s, didn't lose it on our watch. No, not at all. We had a lot of casualties. You talk about Huey Newton all you want, but that brother standing right in front of police says, shoot me, I defend the people, I love the people, I wanted to die for the people. You can disagree with my ideology, but I got enough now. I'm standing up. Angela Davis, you might not want to be a communist. I'm a Christian, so I couldn't go too far with it, but we got overlap. She's concerned about poor people, she's concerned about working people. What about your watch now? Or are you going to forget about the poor brothers and sisters? Beginning with black folks spilling over to all poor, not just in this nation, but around the world, in Asia and Middle East and other places. Will you lose that great tradition? August Wilson's Aunt Esther, she died in the 1980s. She represents the best of the black struggle. You all know the great August Wilson, the great literary blues man. Just died a few years ago. He said, oh, it's something happening under paganism. Look like these black folk are being transformed into consumers and hedonists with little sense of history, obsessed with narrow conceptions of success, losing the very art of intimacy and vulnerability, learning less and less how to love themselves, each other, and others across racial and class lines. Is this the sign of the decline of an empire? Is this the symptom of the decline of a great people's struggle? And I'm just here to say that as long as there's young brothers and sisters like yourselves wrestling with these issues, having these black solidarity conferences, you say to yourself and the world that we want to be Socratic in our questioning, prophetic in our witness, and we want to be blues people because we want to be long-distance runners who keep track of the catastrophic in our midst, no matter how successful we are, because we will use our success for greatness. We are going to, in fact, like Dorothy Irene Height used to say, we are going to take folk who work alongside folks. So no matter how high we ascend, we will not allow the limelight to be cast just on our individual success. We will use our success to cast a limelight on those who deserve the kind of attention and support, the ones catching hell. Our cousins, our brothers, our sisters, racially, class-wise, nationally-wise, globally-wise. Do we have what it takes, Black Solidarity Conference? I say, I think so. I have that kind of hope in you, but let me in on this note, because I'm not an optimist. I don't believe in optimism. I don't believe in pessimism. I'm a blues man in the life of the mind. And a blues man or a blues woman is a prisoner of hope, and never confuse hope with optimism. Optimism means individually I'm doing well. Yeah, at the moment, individually I'm doing relatively well. But I don't look at the world just in terms of how I'm doing. You've got to be concerned about others. And when you look at how others are doing, dilapidated housing, disgraceful school systems, and depression-like levels of unemployment and underemployment, you say, oh, I got to cut against the grain. I got to be a prisoner of hope. That's what the blues is all about. Long-distance runners in the face of darkness, sustaining vision, courage, compassion, critical questioning to keep a tradition alive, but knowing that we got a long, long way to go. No matter how high you all ascend, even our dear brother Barack Obama himself, never think that you are the fulfillment of Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream. You are a fulfillment of Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream. And that dream is real only when all the folk catching hell can live a life of decency. Thank you all so very much. You're very kind. Thanks for all what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Thank you very much.
thank Dr. West for coming out one more time. If after the entire conference of events and culminating in this address, you aren't inspired to go back to your own communities and force some real change, I don't really know what more we can do for you. Before I go into acknowledgments, I just want to make a couple announcements. We found a cell phone here. If you're missing a cell phone, come find me after the program. We'll get that back to you. Okay, they just found the guy. All right. Also, for the participants, if you do want to go to the final party at the Regal Ballroom, it's imperative that you do wear your bands. That's how you get the discount down to $5. On to acknowledgments. I could be up here for 2 hours talking about all the people who played a significant role in making BSC happen. So I'm going to keep this very brief. I want to acknowledge the Yale College Dean's Office for all of their support. Dean Gentry, Dean Cohen as well. From day one, they've always been here with us, guiding us through this process. This couldn't have happened without the Yale College Dean's Office. So I thank you. I also want to thank the Omni New Haven Hotel. The board and I did a lot of work this weekend setting things up. But what you see in front of you is all the hotel. They did a wonderful job. Wouldn't you agree? I also want to thank a student magazine who's handling all of our media. They've been covering our panels diligently. They've been conducting interviews. They're here at the keynote. We will post a link to a student magazine's website up on yale.edu/BSC, so you can visit their website and check out a student magazine and all the wonderful things that Landon has been doing with this team. So thank you to Student Magazine for being our media sponsors. I also want to acknowledge all of the Yaleys in the crowd. Are there any Yaleys out there? Woo! Conference really can't happen without you, whether it be hosting or giving directions with a smile on your face. I sincerely appreciate it, and I look forward to having your support in future years. Notably, I want to thank a couple of individuals. Kayla Benson, who had to dip out and handle the after party. Tamiki Bethel, who's been with me this whole weekend. Brandon Rapp, Leonard Thomas, Letitia Campbell, Rihanna Dunright. The list goes on and on, but I really want to thank Yaleys for coming out and all of your support. Perhaps most importantly, I want to thank all of you all for your attendance. You all are what make conference happen every single year, especially the people who come back from year to year. I know there's some faces out there who I've seen since my freshman year come back to Yale in February, and I sincerely appreciate that. The Yale campus sincerely appreciates you, and BSC sincerely appreciates you. So please give a round of applause for yourselves. Last but certainly not least, I have to thank the BSC board. From the freshmen, Jasmine and Nia, to the sophomores, Chris, Naima, Brittany, Monique, and Brandon. To the juniors, Kevin Moore and Frederick Angel. And to the seniors on board, Constance Collins, Charles Marco, Yolanda Wilson. I said at the opening ceremony that BSC is a conference for students by students. And these are the students who put this together for you all. I know there are a lot of hiccups along the way, but BSC is run by us 14 people. So we really appreciate you coming out, and the board has I'm really proud of the board. I'm kind of without words right now. I was unsure at the beginning of the year because we were so young. A lot of sophomores on the board. But I soon realized that youth translated into a bigger enthusiasm and a passion for BSC that has really been unmatched over the past 3 years that I've been a part of the board. So I hope to see a lot of the same faces on the board next year when I come back up for conference in the same room. So let's give another round of applause for BSC. With that, I will take my seat and hand it over to Kevin Moore, who has the closing remarks. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Moore. I'm the Vice President of the 16th Annual Black Solidarity Conference here at Yale. I'm going to try to keep this brief because my bladder actually isn't particularly pleased with me right now. For everyone's sake. I'm confident that everyone, each member of this audience, absorbed something very meaningful from Dr. West's dynamic presence and his speech today. But I wanted to point out a couple of things that particularly resonated in my mind. During his speech, he mentioned, as he was referring to our ancestors and the legacy that they've passed on, he mentioned that they loved everyone, but they started at home. And that's something that we have been talking about in past conferences, as well as especially in our workshops throughout the day today. And everyone in this audience, although they may not have been equipped with formal education or may have not necessarily attended Harvard or Yale, everyone has an informal education that they can use to go, return to their respective communities, to their respective homes, and inspire change. So I beseech everyone in this audience to do that. I feel that that's very important, and that's something that we try to stress throughout conference. So I hope that everyone has learned something and will return to their communities and do so. I want to say, just again, please remember your wristbands tonight. I assure you that the bouncers or the doormen at Larico Ballroom will not be as lenient as we were with the wristbands and the dressing room tonight, so please. If you're staying on campus housing, please do not hesitate to contact myself or Nigel if you leave anything behind. Our information is listed in the packets that you all should have. Just another special thanks to the Omni Hotel, Julian Reed's band, Shades Acapella Group, all of our speakers and participants, and last but not least, I can't say enough how important it was to have this board to my left with me during this crazy time. We've been planning for conference since last summer, and everyone put forth a tremendous effort, so just another hand.